time to speculate on Dragon Prince Season 3. I'm excited. Dragon Prince Season 3 will be released on Netflix in a little over a month, and I can't wait. Season 2 was amazing, and it was even better than Season 1, which I thought was really great as well. So in this video, I'm going to go over the 3 things I think Dragon Prince Season 3 needs, and also just speculate and go over some newly released images from Season 3. Let's get started with the 3 things that Dragon Prince Season 3 needs to do. First off, let me say that Dragon Prince is an amazing show. It's really good. It provides me really with everything that I need. It is somewhat slowly paced so far, and there's a couple things I think it could do to really start to grab an even wider audience. Number 3, the pacing. The pacing really kind of needs to pick up, I think. And we've had 2 seasons so far, about 18 episodes, where we don't really know what the end goal is. We don't know what the end game is. The characters all feel like they're just building up to where they need to be. Like for instance, with Avatar, we knew that, all right, there's going to be 3 seasons, and we know that by the end of it, Aang has to master all 4 elements, and he has to defeat the Fire Lord. But here, we still don't know what the end game is. We know that they need to take Zim back to the Dragon Queen to see what happens, but we know that that's not going to solve everything. But with the Dragon Prince, we still just don't know, and we as audience members, we need to have something to keep watching the show for, to just keep us even more invested. We need to be invested in the story. We're already invested in the characters. They've done a great job doing that, but we just need a bit more about the story. And I think we're going to get that. I think this season we're going to dive even more into what happened between King Harrow and the Dragon King Thunder. I'm sure we're going to get even more lore and backdrop of Iroh and how did he start off and how did the humans first get magic. But we need to start charting our path towards destination. Number 2, conflict, but more specifically, outer conflict. I think the show has done really an amazing job when it comes to that inner turmoil that many characters have. Like when Ezran has to deal with people sort of lying to him, kind of keeping secrets from him. He has to deal with not being a child anymore and growing up. Callum has to deal with, the whole breathing exercise he did, accepting things, leaning on his mother, and Rayla had to deal with not being an assassin. And so many people have to deal with all these inner turmoil that I think the characters are now kind of baked, right? They're good. But we need more of that outer conflict. We need conflict between characters, some physical conflict. We haven't had that yet. And the issue there is kind of a good issue, is because all the characters, they're not cookie cutter. They're not completely evil or completely good. Well, there are some completely good ones, but I don't think anyone's completely evil yet. And the main antagonists that we had in Season 2 were the friends of Callum and Ezran. And so they never felt that threatening, and there was never any physical conflict there. When it comes to their physical threat to them, they were less like Zuko and Azula and more like Team Rocket. On the bright side, I do think we're heading there. Claudia seems to be leaning more towards the dark side, seems to be diving even more into that dark magic, and I think that's going to put her into some actual physical conflict with our protagonists. Number 1 thing Season 3 needs is more epicness. It needs to build the scale and scope of the show. Like at the end of Avatar Season 1, man, you ended with a giant koi fish battling a freaking armada of ships. So far in Dragon Prince, the most epic moments comes in flashbacks, so we feel a little disconnected to it. We need that in the present, in the now, here with our main protagonists. We need them to do some amazing things. We need them to be very active and proactive in their mission. Because I think this show just really needs to just build up the scale, and once you build up the scale, you start building up the stakes, and once you build up the stakes, everyone gets even more invested into this story. And like I said before, I love the show. I don't necessarily need these things to happen for my enjoyment of the show to increase, but I think these things will go a long way to just grabbing and retaining a much wider audience. I mean, I just want the show to be successful. And it feels like it is. I mean, I want the saga. Give us the saga. And it seems like they are building up into a story that is epic in scale and story that can rival stories of Avatar or Game of Thrones or Lord of the Rings. And I'm excited for it, but I just want it to be successful and I want to see it. I mean, if they don't get, more seasons, then I'll read whatever books that they can come out with. Recently, there were some screenshots from the new season that I think are really telling for what the season holds. So I'm gonna look at each one and kind of give my opinion on it, maybe speculate a little bit. First, let's look at this poster of Thunder, and he looks absolutely gorgeous. I mean, geez, his eyes just radiating with that lightning. He looks so scary. It was also announced that Thunder will be voiced by Chris Metzen. He is a game designer, a voice actor, and author. He's really just a jack of all trades. Voice acting wise, he is known for voicing Thrall in World of Warcraft games. Here's a sample.
I will correct the mistake I made long ago. Spirits of the wind, the earth, the water, hear my call!
But besides Thunder in this picture, which looks absolutely amazing, there's also a mysterious figure on a horse riding towards him. But I don't think it's that mysterious because if you zoom in, you can see the back of his head. It looks like dreadlocks. Looks like the type of locks and jewelry that King Harrow wore. And this makes absolute perfect sense. King Harrow is responsible for killing Thunder, the Dragon King. I do think we're going to get a flashback to when King Harrow took on Thunder, and I think one of our fan theories is going to come true. Everyone's fan theory that King Harrow is inside Pip the bird, and Ezran is back in Toothless, so he'll be able to talk to the bird, which is his dad, and his dad is going to tell him the story of probably his greatest failure in his life. I mean, it's going to be really interesting. I mean, King Harrow even says himself that he's made mistakes. I'm sure killing Thunder was one of them. Poster number 2 is far more tamer. It is of Ezran, Rayla, and Callum, and of course Zim and Bait. And I really like this. The thing I like most about this poster is Ezran. He just looks like he's matured so much in the past 2 seasons. I mean, he doesn't look like that same kid who's stealing pastries from the chef and having dreams about it. He looks regal, he looks responsible, looks like the weight of the world is on his shoulders. And Callum's seen doing some magic, which that does not look like Espero, looks far more offensive than that. And the only interesting thing about Rayla here, she's wearing a necklace, and Moonshadow elves seem to have a thing about jewelry. So I'm sure that necklace is going to play a big role in the next season, and I really don't know what that is, but I'm excited for it. The next picture that just has me so excited is of the Sunfire elf looking down at Amaya. This picture just full on intensity, just summed up in a picture. And Amaya is stripped down of her armor. She looks really slender here. I just love these two. They seem like they have this feud that's been going on for really even beyond last season. And you know what? I'm hoping that they work it out because these two are really some amazing characters. I don't know that much about the Sunfire elf, but she looks pretty amazing. And Amaya is a fan favorite. I love her. She's great. The next picture here just kind of summarizes Callum and Rayla's relationship. It seems like Rayla is kind of bored and she really wants to do something, and Callum is kind of taking the easy approach here, taking the subtle approach, probably thinking through something or studying his book, studying more magic. And in this picture, it looks like Ezran has made it back to the capital of Toothless. And the thing I like about this picture is it looks like he is just really lost in thought, looking over his kingdom, thinking about just what responsibilities he has and what he needs to do. And of course, Bait is with them. Here's a picture of Sol Regal, the sun dragon, and looks like that mysterious sage that we see in the first episode of the series. I love how this image seems to completely contradict the other one of King Harrow, which I'm going to say that's King Harrow, challenging Thunder. It's just two completely different approaches to interfacing with the dragons. It looks like we have an image of some royalty from one of the other four kingdoms. This is an avatar, darn it. So I'm sure we're going to get that storyline of those shadow elf thingies that Varen unleashed, and maybe he killed some people. Here's the image of a sky elf that seems to be in trouble, and I'm just loving her design. Can't wait to learn more about the sky elves. And what the heck is that behind her? It looks like a really tall giraffe. Like, I can't wait to see what that is. It looks really interesting. And in the very, very back, you can see it looks like Rayla and Callum back there. So it seems like they're gonna probably help her out and make a new friend. And I love this poster with protagonists and antagonists all over it. Ezran in the middle, front and center. Claudia really looks like she's delving more into that dark side. Really loving the rogue hair look. And of course, have to notice all the dragons in the background. And here's a quick picture of Soren with a beard. So that's cool, I guess. And I'm guessing he's always been able to grow a beard, he just hasn't. I only say that from experience, because when we first start growing a beard, it doesn't just grow magically all in one unified presentation. It grows in and kind of patches at first and then grows into a full beard. But I feel like stubbles and TV shows and animation and comics tends to represent a character who's gone through something, a character who's struggling a lot with some inner turmoil. So that'll be interesting. I do feel like they kind of shorthanded Soren on what a great character arc he was sort of on his way to, with him being crippled and everything, but I hope that they continue to challenge the character. All right, so my biggest takeaway from these images is that I am even more excited for Dragon Prince Season 3. What do you think is needed for Dragon Prince Season 3? Or just what do you think is going to improve the show or improve your enjoyment of the show? And if you like this video, please like, comment, and share. It really helps out the channel, and consider subscribing. And sincerely, thank you for watching. I'm out.